This is the Stronghold Digital Mining Daily Update. Today's Monday, July 10th, 2023. So shares of Stronghold Digital Mining were up close to 30% today. Here's the thing, okay? I'm profoundly excited for the fact that our stock, right, is beginning to gain some much needed traction. That being said, if you look at a chart of Stronghold Digital Mining over the past, say, year, okay, the past 12 months, you know, we've been much higher than where we are right now just several months ago. So, you know, on the one hand, I'm grateful that we're no longer being priced at like $3.68 a share, which struck me as being utterly disgraceful and laughable. It was almost like, dude, what's going on, right? By the same token, we are very, very early in what, from just a very conservative perspective, okay? This isn't even swinging for the fences. This isn't like some sort of like, you know, daydream. I'm just saying, hey, like in terms of like a basic, you know, not even a fair valuation. Let's just call it a valuation that at least doesn't cause like instant nausea, you know, to see it. I mean, our stock should probably be closer to like 20, 25, probably $30 a share to just kind of like merit some basic sense of like, okay, you know what? It's not like disgusting to look at anymore. We could actually look at the stock price, look at the valuation of the company and be like, all right, you know what? The stock market, you know, we're kind of like in a range now that reflects the reality of this business. Now, here's the deal, right? It's very easy to kind of look at Stronghold Digital Mining, to single us out and, you know, make it kind of sound like, hey, you know what? You guys have struggled in terms of like maybe being cash flow positive or, hey, you haven't generated a net profit, stuff like that. Hey, I mean, take a look at any major publicly traded Bitcoin mining company, all right? I mean, right now, there's one company in particular that comes to mind, and it's named CORZQ. Hey, I love everybody at CORZQ. Hey, it's a great team of people. I know, you know, a lot of the shareholders out there, you're holding out hope, right? That hopefully as this, you know, bankruptcy process plays out, you know, that you won't be wiped out. And I really hope you don't get wiped out and that you get some, you know, get to keep a little bit of equity value if the company is to reemerge from bankruptcy. But, you know, I'm just saying to myself, hey, man, like the stock market is valuing CORZQ at what, upwards of almost $400 million. And that's awesome. Okay. My point is like, hey, Stronghold Digital Mining has never declared bankruptcy. You know, we've actually dramatically restructured our entire balance sheet, right? We have no mandatory amortization payments till July of 2024. You know, we've deleveraged substantially. I mean, you know, dramatically even. We are arguably a better positioned company today than we were a year ago when the stock was like upwards of what, split adjusted like 35 some odd dollars a share. So, you know, I think this question of valuation, you could kind of play it a bunch of different ways. I mean, look at, if you want to take a perspective of saying, hey, look at, let's get to a point where we could at least have a conversation about valuation where we're not talking about a stock that's like $3 a share, you know? That at least if we're kind of closer to like maybe $25, maybe $30 a share. And again, this isn't, yeah, I mean, look, compared to like $9, sure, that's a huge leap from where we are right now. But it's not that big of a leap when you kind of think about what's going on here. If anything, our stock collapsed so precipitously, so shockingly that, you know, the fact that we're actually regaining ground isn't really the news. The news is that we actually collapsed as far as we did. You know, to the point where, I mean, you know, heck, maybe people even thought we were bankrupt, you know? So again, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds as it relates to valuation, certainly not in this particular video. I think that, hey, there's a lot to celebrate in terms of what we are seeing, not only with shares of Stronghold Digital Mining, but with the entire publicly traded Bitcoin mining ecosystem. These are very positive things. You know, for what it's worth, I think I saw CORZQ is at $1 a share. So that's awesome. I think it's great that a company that's in bankruptcy can attain such an incredible, you know, market valuation. And as I said before, I'm really rooting for those of you who have money in Stronghold Digital Mining. I really hope that, you know, you get to keep some of that equity as the bankruptcy process plays out and they are not wiped out completely, which is sadly sometimes the case in a bankruptcy proceeding. So hopefully, right, there's some money to be made there. But I'll tell you something, I'm just saying, hey, if you're somebody who's comfortable putting fresh capital into Core Scientific, would you at least consider allocating a portion of that capital to Stronghold Digital Mining? I mean, the value proposition is tremendous in terms of Stronghold Digital Mining, and at least we have not, passed that threshold of actually being in bankruptcy, right? We are not bankrupt. So all of that is by way of saying that what we are seeing in the stock market is very encouraging. But my encouragement and enthusiasm, it's kind of like tempered a little bit, only because, again, we are very, very early innings insofar as what can, I think, just, realistically be a, I mean, come on, guys, let's keep it real, all right? We were literally trading at $3.68, which was like ridiculous, utterly ridiculous, okay? I mean, if our stock were at $1,000 a share, okay, yeah, hey, I'd be the first to say, that sounds kind of nuts. Maybe we need to take a breather. What did we close? We closed at $9.04 today. I mean, we have so much more to go to get to a point where we can have a conversation that's, we can look at the stock price and be, okay, we're kind of in a range now where valuation kind of makes sense. But until the valuation of Stronghold Digital Mining doesn't at least get to half, let's be conservative, half of bankrupt Core Scientific's valuation. Okay, if we can, if we could bridge that gap between where we are now and at least just half of the valuation of a company that's in bankruptcy, right? That went bankrupt. They could not, right? They couldn't pay their bills, so to speak. They had to seek bankruptcy protection. Shareholders might get wiped out. I mean, literally wiped out. I mean, hopefully not. But that's a very real possibility. So, my argument is, hey, can we at least bridge the gap to be maybe like half the valuation of Core Scientific? I don't think that's too much to ask, okay? And I think for those of us who are longer term holders of Stronghold Digital Mining, we're not just trading in and out of it every 30 seconds. Again, if we've been patient enough to see, right, our ownership interest in this company drop into the abyss, let's not be too hasty to jump ship, right, as soon as we kind of reach a point where we see a little bit of daylight, right? We're still so far underwater, but we can see a little bit of daylight up there, right? We've got a ways to go. So with all of that said, as always, let's continue to be positive. Let's continue to be great. And we'll see each other tomorrow, and we'll get back into the core economics of our business, which, by the way, are doing fine. I've been tracking the numbers. All of that's fine. But the real news, obviously, lately has been the stock price. So that's what we're focusing on today. And we still have, from my perspective, a very long ways to go. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.